Hello students, my name is Rohit and today we are going to start a new chapter and the chapter is States Reorganization. In the last class we studied Union and its territories, which is under the part first of the Constitution and it consists of 4 articles, Article 1, 2, 3 and 4. We studied all the 4 articles and now we will start a new chapter. Now this particular chapter is not in the Constitution but it is somehow related to part first of the Constitution. So let us start the new chapter and that is States Reorganization. States Reorganization. So what we are going to study in this chapter? In this chapter we will study that how states were created on the basis of language. See, we all know that India was divided basically on the basis of religion. The side where Muslims were in majority, that side was given to Pakistan. Now Muslims were in majority not at any one particular place, but they were in 2 places. The first was on the side of Punjab and the other was on the side of West Bengal. So consequently India was divided from both the sides. First from the side of Punjab and second from the side of Bengal. Hence 2 Pakistan were created, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. East Pakistan was later on called as Bangladesh when it attained independence from main Pakistan. We remember in 1971 there was a war between India and Pakistan to liberate Bangladesh. Well, we are not going to discuss about the war that took in 1971, but we are basically trying to understand that during partition we all must have seen the riots that took place and the number of lives we lost. So the partition resulted in the deaths of millions of people. Okay, so our leaders were aware of the fact that many people died because of partition on the basis of religion. So what our leaders thought that because of one partition we lost many lives. So now we are not ready for another partition on the basis of language. Soon after independence, people from different states started to demand that their state should be created on the basis of language. For example, in the state of Madras, those who were speaking Telugu, they wanted that for Telugu speaking population, there should be a separate state called Andhra. Similarly, such kind of demand was also coming from big state, for example, Bombay. In Bombay, Marathi and Gujarati, they both were demanding that there should be a separate state for Marathis and for Gujaratis. Same is the case in Punjab, where Punjabi and Hindi speaking population both want that there should be a separate state for them. So when we attained independence and soon after independence, people from different states started demanding that there should be states on the basis of language. And it is not just because India attained independence, even before independence, there were such demands from different states that state should be reorganized on the basis of language. But our leaders thought that because of one partition we lost many lives. So now we are not ready at present for another partition. So they somehow delayed. But people were not ready for this. So what happened? When the pressure grew, so what government did? Government responded. And how government responded? Government in June 1948. Now you all can see we attained independence in August 1947 and within 1 year the pressure grew to such an extent that government was forced to appoint a commission especially for this purpose, and the purpose was to decide whether the states can be divided on the basis of language or not. So in June 1948, within 1 year of independence, the Constituent Assembly, or in other words we can say the Government of India, appointed a commission. Now this commission is known as Linguistic Provinces Commission. I hope this is clear that why this particular commission was appointed. The purpose of this commission was to determine whether the states can be divided on the basis of language or not. Now, who was the chairman of this commission? The chairman of this commission was S.K. Dhar. And that is why we call this commission as Dhar Commission. So, Linguistic Provinces Commission is also known as Dhar Commission because the chairman of this commission was S.K. Dhar. Now remember, apart from S.K. Dhar, there were two members, but we do not have to remember their name. Okay, so only the chairperson is important, and the chairperson was S.K. Dhar. Now we all know the purpose of this commission, to determine whether states can be divided on the basis of language or not. So this commission submitted its report in December 1948. In December 1948, see what happened in June. In June, the commission was appointed, and in December, the commission submitted its report. Now remember, when the commission submitted its report, the commission rejected language as the basis to divide states. So what was in the report? The commission rejected the demand. Now what was the demand? We all know. The demand was to divide states on the basis of language, and commission said no. At present, we cannot divide states on the basis of language. So commission rejected the demand. But according to commission, if you really want to divide any state, then that should be on the basis of administration. Now suppose there is a big state. If by dividing that state, we can govern that state properly or efficiently, then we should divide the state, but the basis for division should be administrative convenience. So according to Dhar Commission, administrative convenience should be the basis to divide a state. Suppose let us take example of Uttar Pradesh. We all know that Uttar Pradesh is the biggest state. It will be better if we divide Uttar Pradesh into 2 parts or 4 parts, or it depends upon the government. But by dividing the state of Uttar Pradesh, it will be better. Government will be in a better position to govern the state. We all know the population of Uttar Pradesh. It is more than 20 crore, 25 crore. So I think it's better to divide the state of Uttar Pradesh, but it is up to the government whether government wants to do this or not. But I'm just giving an opinion that yes, for the sake of administration, we can divide the states. So for S.K. Dhar Commission, administration should be the ground for dividing any state, not the language. So what we have to remember in Dhar Commission, first, Dhar Commission is also known as Linguistic Provinces Commission. Why this commission was appointed? It was appointed to determine whether the states can be divided on the basis of language or not. And now, when the commission submitted its report in December 1948, the commission rejected the demand. According to commission, language should not be the basis to divide any state, but instead of language, it should be administration. If by dividing a state, if we can run the administration efficiently, then yes, we should go ahead. So this was Dhar Commission. Now remember, Dhar Commission submitted its report in December 1948. People were not ready to accept the report of the commission. What people really wanted, that there should be division on the basis of language. But what government said no, we cannot divide this state on the basis of language. So people felt betrayed. So what they did? They started protesting against the report of the commission. So the commission submitted its report in December 1948. People started protesting against the report, and what happened? This compelled the government to appoint another commission to re-examine the question. So people were not satisfied with this report. That is why, keeping in mind the sentiments of people, the government decided to form a different commission to re-examine the question. So now, what will happen? See, the report was submitted in December 1948. So in December 1948, government appointed another committee. Now remember, Dhar Commission was appointed by the Constituent Assembly, or we can say the government. But in December 1948, government didn't appoint any committee. It was the Congress, the ruling party, which appointed a committee. So this committee is known as Linguistic Provinces Committee. Now remember, you should not be confused. The first was Linguistic Provinces Commission, and it was appointed by the Constituent Assembly or the Government of India. But Linguistic Provinces Committee was not appointed by the government, it was appointed by the Congress. So this particular committee consisted of 3 members. All 3 members were member of Congress. And now these 3 members were, first was Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Second was Vallabhbhai Patel. And third was Pattabhi Sitaramaya. Okay, so Linguistic Provinces Committee consisted of 3 members, and all these 3 members were the member of Congress. Okay, so now who was the chairman of this committee? No one was the chairman of this committee. Had Nehru been its chairman, we would have called this committee as Nehru Committee. Had Patel, then we would have called this committee as Patel Committee, or Pattabhi Sitaramaya Committee. But remember, no one was the chairman of this commission, and that is why we address this commission as JVP Committee. So Linguistic Provinces Committee appointed in December 1948 is also known as JVP Committee. And why we are calling JVP Committee? Because no one was the chairman in this committee, and that is why we are calling it as JVP Committee. Now, what was the question in front of JVP Committee? Why this committee was appointed? JVP Committee was appointed to examine the demand that whether states can be divided on the basis of language or not. So this committee submitted its report in April 1949. So let me write that in December the committee was appointed. In December the committee was appointed, and in April the report was submitted. And now what happened in the report? So according to JVP Committee, language cannot be the basis to divide a state on the basis of language. So once again, people felt betrayed, because again this committee said no, we cannot divide the states on the basis of language. So after Dhar Commission, JVP Committee broadly accepted that language cannot be the basis to divide a state. So after Dhar Commission, JVP Committee also refused. Now what happened? After the refusal, I don't know, people must have protested against this report, but government didn't take any action. See, it happens every time that whenever people find something inconvenient or which is not according to their wish, then usually they protest. Okay, rights happen in our country, but government may not take action always. Okay, so even after the report, there might be some rights. There might be rights, but government didn't take any action. And even if the government took some action, then we do not have to study for examination. So what happened? The next major event was in December 1952. So in December 1952, in Madras, those who were speaking Telugu, they wanted that Telugu speaking population should be separated from Madras, and a new state should be created for Telugu speaking population, and that state should be Andhra state. Okay, not Andhra Pradesh, it should be Andhra. So again, after the report of JVP Committee, after some time in December 1952, again people started protesting, and they want that there should be a separate state for Telugu speaking population, and that state should be Andhra. So what happened? There's a person, his name is Poti Srira Mullu. So Poti Srira Mullu, he was a Congressee. So what he did? He said that he did in the same manner what Anna Hazare did in 2011 and 2012. He said that fulfill our demand, otherwise I will be on fast unto death. So Poti Srira Mullu did fast unto death for the demand of Andhra. Okay, so for Andhra state, he was on fast unto death. So what happened? He died because of this, and he died on the 56th day of fast unto death. So on the 56th day of fast unto death, Poti Srira Mullu died, and he died by because he wanted that the government should create a state on the basis of language for Telugu speaking, and that state should be Andhra. So for Andhra, he laid down his life. So after his death, there was massive uproar in the state of Madras. So wait a minute. I guess it is not 1952. I guess it's in the October 1952. So in October 1952, Pothi Sriramulu sat on fast unto death, and in December 1952, he died. Okay, so in December 1952, he died, and the government was forced to create Andhra on 1st of October 1953. So remember, in December 1952, Pothi Sriramulu died, and that was the 56th day of fast unto death. And after this, because of the furore, the government was compelled to create a state on the basis of language, and that state is known as Dhar, and that state is known as Andhra state. So we can argue, or we can say that Andhra is the first linguistic state. Andhra is the first state which was created on the basis of language. See, we started from the beginning, and from beginning what we have seen that this is the only state which is created on the basis of language. So what is the distinction of Andhra? Andhra is the first linguistic state, that is the first state created on the basis of language. But remember, I am writing Andhra, I am not writing Andhra Pradesh, because there is a difference between Andhra and Andhra Pradesh. Andhra state was formed on 1st October 1953, and the state of Andhra Pradesh was created on 1st November 1956. So there is a difference of 3 years and 1 month between Andhra and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, and the difference is not just about the name, that the former is called as Andhra and the latter is called as Andhra Pradesh. The difference was about the size. Andhra was small in size and Andhra Pradesh was bigger in size. Okay, so finally Andhra state was created on 1st October 1953. Now remember, finally government created Andhra state. Okay, so now you tell me, now finally Andhra state has been created and it is on the basis of language. So what people from other state did, when they saw that the Telugu speaking population got their state, now the people from the state of Madras, Punjab, now the people from the state of Bombay, where Marathi and Gujarati both are fighting for their different state. Similarly in the state of Punjabi and Hindi speaking population. So after seeing that Telugu speaking population got their separate state, the people from other places also started demanding that if the government has fulfilled the demand of Telugu speaking population, then why not our demands could be fulfilled. So what happened? After the creation of Andhra, the government was forced to appoint a different commission to study once again this question, and this question was that whether we can divide the state on the basis of language, and government was forced to create one state on the basis of language. Now obviously it was normal from other states that they will also ask the same question from the government, that if you made a state for Telugu speaking population, then you should also create a state for us. So what happened? In December 1953, see, in October 1953, the state of Andhra was created. So after 2 months, in December 1953, the government appointed States Reorganization Commission. The government appointed States Reorganization Commission. Okay, now this commission is really important for us. This commission consisted of 3 members. Okay, the first member was the chairman of this commission, and he was Fazal Ali. Yes, this is the spelling of Fazal, F-A-Z-L. There is no A between Z and L. It is Fazal Ali. So Fazal Ali was the chairman of this commission, and that is why this commission is also known as Fazal Ali Commission. Okay. Now second was K.M. Panikkar. K.M. Panikkar was the second member, and third was H.N. Kunzuru. Okay. So now remember, States Reorganization Commission consisted of 3 members, and out of these 3, Fazal Ali was the chairman of this commission, and that is why we call this commission as Fazal Ali Commission. So we can simply write that this commission is also known as Fazal Ali Commission. Okay. Now, we all know why this commission was appointed. This commission is appointed to examine that whether states can be divided on the basis of language or not. And now this commission is also aware of the fact that a state has been created in India on the basis of language, and that state is Andhra. Now we have to understand whether other states can also be created on the basis of language or not. So what this commission did? This commission submitted its report in 1955 in the month of September. So in December, the commission was appointed. And in September, the commission submitted its report. Okay. Now remember, when the commission submitted its report, the commission finally accepted the demand. Yes. Which commission finally accepted the demand, or which among the following option accepted the demand that states can be divided on the basis of language? And suppose there are 4 options. The first option is Dhar Commission, second option is JVP Committee, third option is Fazal Ali Commission, and fourth option is none of these. So remember, the commission which accepted the demand that states can be divided on the basis of language, that particular commission is known as Fazal Ali Commission or States Reorganization Commission. So what commission did? Commission said yes, states can be divided on the basis of language. States can be divided on the basis of language. Okay. But remember this particular thing, that commission knew that in India there are many languages. If you will read NCERT, you will find that there are more than 1600 languages that are spoken in our country. So if we start creating states on the basis of language, don't you think that more than 1000 states will be created? If we accept the demand that yes, for every language there should be a state. So commission was aware of this fact that in India there are thousands of languages, and we cannot create a state for each and every language. So commission broadly accepted that yes, we can divide a state on the basis of language. So commission was of the view that yes, language can be a basis for dividing a state, but one language, one state, this particular principle is not acceptable. So the commission accepted the demand, but it rejected one language, one state principle. It means for every language, we cannot create a separate state because there are thousands of languages in our country. Okay. So commission accepted the demand on one hand, but it rejected. What commission rejected? Commission rejected one language. Commission rejected one language, one state principle. Okay. So this particular thing was rejected by this Fazal Ali Commission. So I hope now you are aware that why the commission accepted and why the commission rejected. Both are logical. Okay. But remember, what Fazal Ali Commission said was not restricted to yes and no. Fazal Ali Commission said much more about the political structure, I mean political map of this country. Now what apart from this Fazal Ali Commission said, let us try to understand. Okay. So at present, what is the political map of a country? Suppose if I ask this question from you, that what is the political map of this country? What answer you are going to give? So the political map of this country is that India is divided into 28 states and 8 union territories. This is the political map of a country. If we ask, suppose if I asked, what is the geographical map of this country? Then you will say that in the northern portion, there are Himalayas. In the middle, there is Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra plain. Then in middle, there is Peninsular Plateau. On the western side, Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat, then there are islands. This is the geographical map of a country. But I am asking, what is the political map of a country? So, according to our political map, our country is divided into 28 states and 8 union territories. But this is at present. What about Fazal Ali time? During Fazal Ali, this was not the political map of a country. During the time of Fazal Ali, there was a different political map of a country. During his time, our country was divided into 4 parts. Yes, you heard me. During Fazal Ali time, India was divided into 4 parts. Part A, B, C and D. Now on what basis these 4 parts were there? Now let us understand. Now we all know that during his time, India was divided into 4 parts. Part A, B, C and D. So let us write Part A, Part B, Part C and Part D. So this was the political map then. Okay. So now what happened? So what how many units were there in Part A? So in Part A there were total 9 units. In Part B there were 9 units. In Part C there were 10 units, and in Part D there were total 1 unit. So total there were how many units? 29 units. You can also call them as states and UT of that time. So what was in this? What was in these 4 parts? So in Part A there were total 9 units. Now what all 9 units were there? See, these 9 units comprised of those states which were governed by governor. Okay, so all the governor provinces were in this part. So it consisted of governor provinces. See, in history you must have read governor of Bombay, governor of Bengal, governor of Madras. So like this, there were total 9 provinces where there was governor. So in governor provinces we can write Bengal as an example, Madras as an example, Bombay as an example, then Assam, Punjab. Okay, like this there were total 9 provinces. Okay, Pratap. Hello sir, please talk about yourself. My name is Rohit Yadav, and I've been teaching Indian Polity for the past 9 years. And yes, at present I'm teaching states reorganization. What else you want to know? I'm seriously not good at this. Okay, so only when students ask something, then only I respond. Otherwise, I'm busy in teaching. Okay, so Part A consists of 9 governor provinces, and here governor provinces mean, for example, the governor of Bengal. So Bengal is one such province. Madras is one such province. So there were total 9 provinces in Part A. So wherever there were governors, they were placed under Part A of the Constitution. Now, what about Part B of the Constitution? Part B of the Constitution consisted of princely states, and those princely states which had legislature to make laws. Now we can take example of Hyderabad, okay, Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Mysore. Okay, so like this there were total 9 princely states. So now you can understand the difference between Part A and Part B. During the time of Britishers, those where there was governor, they were placed under Part A, and where there were princes, they were placed under Part B. Okay, congratulations Pratap Singh for a selection. Okay, so congrats. Okay, so I hope the difference is clear between Part A and Part B of this system. Now what about Part C? Part C consisted of 10 units, and in Part C, small princely states. So it also consisted of princely states, but these were small in size. So Part C 10, it consisted of small princely states and some chief commissioner provinces. Now the names are, for example, Bhopal, Bilaspur, then Ajmer, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Okay, then Kurg. So like this, there were total 10 under part C. And in part D, there was only Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now we all can see that why this particular system exists. Why we divided states into 4 parts, A, B, C and D. See, the constitution maker, they didn't have the time to arrange all the states in a proper manner. Because of paucity of time, they were not able to arrange states in a proper manner, and that is why what they did, they made a temporary arrangement. So what we are seeing is an temporary arrangement. Okay, so this is a temporary arrangement. The places where there was governor were placed under part A, where big princely states were placed under part B, small princely states and union territory of that time were placed under part C, and part D consisted of only one, that was Andaman and Nicobar Island. Okay, so this was during the time of Fazal Ali Commission. This was the political map of India during Fazal Ali. Okay, so what happened? When Fazal Ali submitted his report, what he said? He said that now it's time to abolish part A, B, C and D. So yes, apart from whether the states can be divided on the basis of language or not, he also said that part A, B, C and D should be abolished. Okay, so it was Fazal Ali Commission which straight away said that there is no need to divide India on the basis of these 4 parts. And now remember, if we combine all these units, it will be 29 units. So what Fazal Ali Commission said? Fazal Ali Commission said that you first of all abolish these 4 parts. Okay, these 4 parts should be abolished. Okay, then these 29 units should be converted into 16 states and 3 union territories. Okay, so remember, it was the Fazal Ali Commission which said that these 4 parts should be abolished and 29 units should be reorganized into 16 states and 3 union territories. Now what government did? First of all, government accepted the report of Fazal Ali Commission. Government finally accepted that yes, the states can be divided on the basis of language and there is no need to create a state for each and every language. So what Fazal Ali Commission said, the government accepted that point. Fazal Ali also said that abolish these 4 parts. Government did exactly the same. Government abolished these 4 parts. And what further the commission said, that these 29 units should be reorganized into 16 states and 3 union territory. But government introduced some modification. And what was the modification? Remember, first of all, government abolished those 4 parts. And for abolishing those 4 parts, government introduced 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956. Now, why 7th Amendment Act? Because the distinction, the detail about part A and part B was under part 7th of the Constitution. So, part 7th of the Constitution was related to the part A and part B. Okay, what we saw earlier. So, for abolishing this part, 7th Constitutional Amendment Act was introduced. So, first of all, we have to abolish part A and part B. That's why we introduced 7th Amendment Act, and by the 7th Amendment Act, we abolished part 7th of the Constitution. And now, what Fazal Ali said, that these 29 units should be organized into 16 states and 3 union territories. But what government did? Government, instead of 16-3, what government did? So, government, for reorganizing 29 units, government introduced States Reorganization Act of 1956, and with this act, okay, with the help of this act, government reorganized 29 units into 14 states and 6 union territories. So remember this point, that for abolishing part A, B, C and D, government introduced 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. By the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act, part 7th of the Constitution was abolished. Why? Because part 7th of the Constitution contained the part A and part B. Okay, so now there should be no difference between part A and part B, and that is why there was no need of part 7th of the Constitution. And for reorganizing 29 units, government introduced States Reorganization Act. As I said, that government introduced some modification in the report. As per the report, there should be 16 states and 3 union territories. But what government did? Government, in place of creating 16 states, government created 14 states and 6 union territories in place of 29 units. So this all happened after the submission of Fazal Ali Commission report. So now finally we have 14 states and 6 union territories, and all this was done on the 1st November 1956. So on 1st November 1956, finally we had 14 states and 6 union territories. So this was the political map of a country on 1st of November 1956. This was the biggest reorganization of states that we ever saw. Okay. So I hope this particular thing is clear, that on 1st November 14 states and 6 UTs were created. Now let us write the name of all these 14 union territories. So what are the names of these 14 union territories? Starting from the letter A, C. Starting with Assam, then Assam, Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Andhra Pradesh, then third, Bihar, Bombay, Jammu and Kashmir, then Punjab, Kerala, then 8th, Madras. Sorry, at present I am not following the sequence. 9th, Mysore, 10th, Madhya Pradesh, then 11th, Rajasthan, 12th, Orissa, 13th, West Bengal, and 14th, Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So these were the 14 states which were created on 1st of November 1956. Okay. So these were the 14 states, and now we will write those 6 union territories. So the name of those 6 union territories was, what were the names? The first was, we can write Delhi. Second is Andaman and Nicobar Island. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Third, Manipur. Fourth, Tripura. Fifth, Himachal Pradesh. And sixth was Laccadive, Minicoy, and Ammandivi Islands. Okay. So these were the 14 states and 6 union territories. Now you all might be confused about the 6th name, Laccadive, Minicoy, and Ammandivi Island. Remember, in 1973, the name was changed to Lakshadweep. So earlier Lakshadweep was known as Laccadive, Minicoy, and Ammandivi Island. Only in 1973, the name was changed to Lakshadweep. Okay. So these are the 14 and 6 union territories. Now we will study that how other states came into existence, because at present we have 28 states and we have at present 28 states and 8 union territories. But right now what we have done, we have written only 14 states. So what about the remaining states? Now we will start each and every state. Okay, now we will discuss each and every state separately. So we are done with 14 states, and now we will start from the 15th state. So now let us write the 15th state. So the 15th state was created when the state of Bombay was divided on the basis of language. See, we all know that in Bombay there were Marathi and Gujarati. So what happened in 1960? The government decided to bifurcate the state of Bombay on the basis of language, and finally a separate state was created for Gujarati speaking population and Marathi speaking population. So from Bombay two states were created. One was Maharashtra and the second was Gujarat. So 15th state is Gujarat. And this state was created in 1960. So for Gujarat, you remember that Gujarat is the 15th state. It was created when Bombay state was divided on the basis of language, and it was created in 1960. So this we have to remember. See, we have to remember the sequence that after 1st November 1956, which was the first state, then we can say it was Gujarat. And I can again say that after Andhra, it is the next state which was created on the basis of language. So the 15th state is Gujarat. Now what about the 16th state? The 16th state was created when Naga Hills and Tuensang area were separated from the state of Assam. So what government was doing? Government separated Naga Hills and Tuensang area from Assam, and these two areas were merged and called Nagaland. So Nagaland was created when we separated Naga Hills and Tuensang area from Assam, and we created a new state, Nagaland state. Okay, now this state was created in 1963, and for this there is an amendment. Remember this amendment? This amendment is 13th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1962. So to give or to confer the status of state upon the state of Nagaland, 13th amendment was introduced. Now why this amendment was introduced? Even without an amendment, we can do this. As we discussed in Article 3, the Parliament can create a state by separating a territory from any state. Similarly, Nagaland was created. Nagaland was created when we separated a part of Assam and we created that part as a state. So this could have done under Article 3. But for the state of, but for Nagaland, we enacted 13th Amendment Act. So why 13th Amendment Act was there when this could have been done under Article 3 of the Constitution? So why? Because by the 13th Amendment Act, we added an article in the Constitution, and that article is 371A. Now remember, Article 371A deals with special provisions for the state of Nagaland. Special provisions for Nagaland. It was because of the special provisions. See, we wanted to give special provisions to the state of Nagaland, and for giving these special provisions, we need to insert this article in the Constitution. So, inserting an article in the Constitution is not possible under Article 3. With the help of Article 3, we can only create a state by separating a state into two. Okay, by separating a territory from any state, we can create a new state. So this could have been done under Article 3, but for adding a new article in the Constitution, we require a Constitutional Amendment Act. So this was the reason that why 13th Amendment was introduced for the state of Nagaland, because we were not only creating a state of Nagaland, but we were also creating special provisions for Nagaland, and for those special provisions, it was necessary to add an article in the Constitution. And so for this article, we introduced 13th Amendment Act. So this was for Nagaland, and after Nagaland, the 17th state is, see how 17th state was created. 17th state was created when the state of Punjab was divided on the basis of language. Hindi speaking population was separated from Punjab, and for that Hindi speaking population, a new state was created, and that state was Haryana. Haryana was created in 1966. So Haryana, and you remember when Punjab was bifurcated, at that time Chandigarh became a union territory. So right now what we saw, that those 6 union territories, in those 6 union territories, there was Delhi, Andaman Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep, Manipur, Tripura, Himachal Pradesh, but there was no Chandigarh in that. Why? Because at that time Chandigarh was not a union territory. Chandigarh was a union territory only when Punjab was divided into two. Only then Chandigarh came into existence. Before that, there was no Chandigarh as a union territory. So this was the 17th state. And what about the 18th state? So 18th state was Himachal Pradesh. We all know earlier Himachal Pradesh was a union territory, but finally government decided to confer the status of state. And in 1971, government elevated the status of Himachal Pradesh. Earlier it was a union territory. Government elevated the status, and now Himachal Pradesh is the proper state of India, and it is the 18th state of our country. So it was created in 1971. So what was the history of Himachal Pradesh? Earlier Himachal Pradesh was a union territory, and now it is a proper state. Now we will discuss the 19th, 20th and 21st state of our country. So let me change the slide. And now the 19th state. The 19th state was Manipur, which was again, Manipur was also a union territory. And similarly, Tripura was also a union territory. So what government did? After Himachal Pradesh, government decided to give the status of a state to Manipur and Tripura. So the 19th state was Manipur, the 20th state was Tripura, and the 21st state was Meghalaya. Okay. Now remember, all these states were created in 1972. So in 1972, Manipur and Tripura were given the status of a state. And what about Meghalaya? So what was Meghalaya? Before 1972, Meghalaya was a sub-state. When we say sub-state, it means it was under a particular state. Assam was the state, and in Assam there was a sub-state called Meghalaya. So earlier Meghalaya was a sub-state, not a proper state. So in 1972, government decided to confer the status of a state upon the sub-state of Meghalaya. So finally Meghalaya got the status of state in 1972. Earlier it was a sub-state. Okay. So this happened in 1972, but remember, two more things happened in 1972. Now what happened? There was a place in Assam called as NEFA. NEFA means Northeastern Frontier Agency. Northeastern Frontier Agency. And it consisted of two provinces. The first was Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh. And another was Mizoram. Okay. So remember, in 1972, NEFA, Northeastern Frontier Agency, which consisted of Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram, was given the status of union territory. So it was in 1972 when five things happened. So the three were these states, Manipur, Tripura and Meghalaya were created as a state. And in the same year, NEFA was given the status of union territory. NEFA consisted of two, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram, and both were given the status of union territory. So it was in 1972 when Arunachal Pradesh became a union territory and Mizoram also became a union territory. So altogether, we have to remember that there were total 5 points. 3 states were created in 1972 and 2 UTs were created in 1972. Okay, so I think we are done with what happened in 1972. Now we can start with the 22nd state of India, and the 22nd state of India was Sikkim. So let us discuss about what happened with Sikkim and how Sikkim became part of India. We all know that earlier Sikkim was not a part of a country. Sikkim became a part of a country in 1975. Okay, it was only in 1975 when the state of Sikkim, when Sikkim was given the status of state. So what was the story of Sikkim? So remember, when we attained independence, same time Sikkim also attained independence. But Sikkim was not a part of a country. Sikkim was a princely state under the rule of Chogyal. So during the time of independence, Sikkim was not a part of a country. It was a princely state under the rule of Chogyal. But since beginning means after independence, since beginning, Sikkim was always considered as a protectorate state of India. So when I say that Sikkim was a protectorate state, what it means? It doesn't mean that Sikkim was a part of a country. Here, protectorate state doesn't mean that Sikkim was a part of a country. What is protectorate state? Let us discuss. See, Sikkim attained independence in 1947. We also attained in the same year. So from 1947 to 1974, Sikkim was not a part of a country, but Sikkim was a protectorate state of a country. So first of all, we will write that during this period, Sikkim was protectorate state of our country. So it basically means that the government of India took three responsibilities of Sikkim. The first responsibility was of defense. The second was of communication. And the third was foreign affairs. So, from 1947, the government of India took three responsibilities. The first was defense, communication, and foreign affairs. So, whenever we say that Sikkim was a protectorate state of India, it basically means that the government of India took three responsibilities: defense, communication, and foreign affairs or external affairs. But there was a growing demand within the state of Sikkim that Sikkim should be a part of India. So because of this demand, what our government did, our government decided to integrate Sikkim, and what they did, they introduced 35th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1974. So government introduced 35th Amendment Act, okay, in 1974. The purpose of this amendment was to integrate Sikkim, to make Sikkim a part of India. But government had different plans. Government never wanted to make Sikkim as an Indian state. No. What government did, by the 35th Amendment Act, government inserted a new article in the constitution, and that article was Article 2A. Now, under Article 2A, it was clearly mentioned that Sikkim will be an associate state of a country. See, now remember, earlier when someone asked that Sikkim is an example of Article 2, at that time I explained Sikkim was never an example of Article 2, and now this is the reason why. See, under Article 2, Parliament has the authority to admit or establish a new state, but it is the state under Article 2. Article 2 deals with the word state, and the state means the state. At present, we have 28 states. So when Sikkim was associated with India, it was not associated as a normal state. When Sikkim was integrated, it was integrated as an associated state. Had India decided to integrate Sikkim as a proper state, there would have been no need of 35th Amendment Act. So why 35th Amendment Act was introduced? Because we were doing an experiment. This was an experiment, and the experiment was to associate Sikkim as an associate state, not as a normal state. Okay. So it was because of the associate state that we introduced a separate article, and that is why Article 2 was not used in case of Sikkim, because we didn't add Sikkim as a normal state. But what we did? We introduced Sikkim as an associate state. So, and one more thing, by the 35th Amendment Act, a new schedule was added in the constitution, and that was 10th schedule. Now, what was the 10th schedule? 10th schedule dealt with the terms and conditions of such association. So, what all terms and conditions will be there upon the state of Sikkim? All those terms and conditions were placed in 10th schedule of the constitution. So, for Sikkim, Article 2A was inserted and 10th schedule was inserted. But this experiment failed. It didn't satisfy the aspirations of the people of Sikkim. They wanted a far better deal than the present deal. So what happened? Government realized that this experiment failed, and now they need to integrate Sikkim in a proper manner. So what government did? Because of this failed experiment, government introduced 36th Amendment Act of 1975, and it was by this amendment that we finally confer the status of state upon the state of Sikkim. So it was by this 36th Amendment Act that the Sikkim was made a proper state, the 22nd state of Indian Union. The 22nd state of Indian Union was Sikkim. And now remember, finally, Sikkim is a proper state. So do you think there is need of Article 2A 10th schedule? Because these two dealt with the associate state status. Now there is no need of Article 2A and 10th schedule because the concept of associate state is gone. So now there is no need. So that is why by the 36th Amendment Act, Article 2A was abolished. Article 2A was abolished because now Sikkim is a proper state. There is no need of associate state. And now there is no need of terms and condition. So we also abolished with the same Amendment Act 10th schedule. So these two things were abolished. And by the 36th Amendment Act, we also added a new article in the Constitution, Article 371F. Article 371F is about the special provision for the state of Sikkim. Special provisions for Sikkim. So now I hope for all those who will be seeing this video, see, whenever I say that Sikkim was not admitted under Article 2 of the Constitution, this is the proper logic that why Article 2 was never invoked in case of Sikkim, because Article 2 deals with the state, and when we admitted Sikkim as an associate state, and there is no such mention of associate state in the Constitution. There is no mention of associate state because Article 2 deals only with the word state. So that is why we introduced Article 2A to give the status of associate state, and Sikkim was associate state of a country. So that is why there were some terms and condition, and those terms and condition were placed in the 10th schedule. But this experiment failed, and because of this experiment, we were forced to introduce a new amendment, 36th Amendment, and by this amendment we rectified the mistakes. What were the mistakes? First, now it's the time to give the status of a state. So by the 36th Amendment Act, we gave the status of state to Sikkim. Now there was no need of Article 2 and 10th schedule. We abolished and we added a separate article for the state of Sikkim, and that was Article 371F, which deals with special provisions for the state of Sikkim. So now finally we are done with the story of Sikkim. So Sikkim was the 22nd state of Indian Union. Now we can move further, and now we will start with the 23rd state. So 23rd state. The 23rd state was Mizoram, which was earlier a union territory created in 1972. So Mizoram was the 23rd state. 24th state was Arunachal Pradesh. 24th state was Arunachal Pradesh. 25th state was Goa. Now remember, this all happened in the year, I guess it was in I just don't remember the exact year. It was my bad. It was 1987. So it was in 1987 when 3 union territories were given the status of state. You remember, we didn't discuss about the state of Gujarat. Sorry, we didn't discuss about Goa. Why? Because we will discuss Goa separately. But remember, Goa was also a union territory. So in 1987, these union territories were given the status of state. So finally, 3 states were created, and these 3 states were earlier union territories. Goa was also a union territory. So this happened in 1987. Then the 26th state. The 26th state was when Madhya Pradesh was bifurcated and Chhattisgarh came into existence. So Chhattisgarh was the 26th state. Then 27th state was Uttarakhand when the state of Uttar Pradesh was bifurcated. Remember earlier Uttarakhand was known as Uttaranchal. Then it was rechristened into Uttarakhand. Then the 28th state was when Bihar was bifurcated and Jharkhand state was created. All this happened in the year 2000. So in 2000 we got 3 new states, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand, created out of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. So now the 29th state, The 29th state was when Andhra Pradesh was divided and Telangana was carved out of Andhra Pradesh. So Telangana became the 29th state. And this all happened on 2nd of June 2014, or you can simply write 2014. So finally we got 29 states, but as I said that at present we have 28 states. Why 28 states when you are seeing 29 states? Because it was in 2019 when for the first time a state was relegated to union territory. Never in our history it happened that a state was converted into union territory. It was always the other way, that a union territory was given the status of state, but in 2019 a state was relegated to the status of union territory, and it was the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So in 2019 there were 29 states and Jammu Kashmir was one such state, and in 2019 Jammu Kashmir was converted into a union territory, and that is why we have now 28 states. Okay, so we got 28 states. Now remember, let us discuss about Goa, Daman, Diu, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Pondicherry. So let me discuss. First, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Okay. So Dadra Nagar Haveli, Goa, Daman, Diu, Pondicherry, these all were not part of India. They were under the occupation of Portuguese, French. So what we did, we occupied these territories. Okay. Dadra and Nagar Haveli was given the status of union territory by 10th Amendment Act of 1961. So it was 10th Amendment Act which made Dadra and Nagar Haveli a part of India, and when it became a part of India, it was admitted as a union territory. So Dadra and Nagar Haveli got associated with India as a union territory. Then the next was Goa, Daman and Diu. Okay, so Goa, Daman and Diu also were given the status of union territory when they got associated with us. So Goa, Daman and Diu were given the status of union territory by the 12th Amendment Act of 1962. Same was the case with Pondicherry, which is now Puducherry. So Pondicherry was given the status of union territory by the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act 1962, and out of these, finally Goa was given the status of state in 1987. Remaining are still union territory. Yes, we all know that now Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu are one. Both these union territories have been merged into one union territory. So now we can say Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu both are one single union territory. So I think we are done with this chapter. See, in this chapter, what all we discussed? First, we discussed that whether the states can be divided on the basis of language or not. And first, we discussed what Linguistic Provinces Commission under the chairmanship of S.K. Dhar said. It is straight away said no. Then, because of the furore, the government was compelled to appoint a new commission, and it was Linguistic Provinces Committee in December 1948. Then that commission again said no. Then after this, okay, and after this, Poti Siramallu sat on fast unto death, and he died on the 56th day of fast unto death, and that date was somehow somewhat 15th or 16th December 1952. And because of his death, there was a massive uproar in the state of Madras, and because of this, the government was forced to create the state of Andhra, which was the first linguistic state. It was created on 1st October 1953, and after that, because of the growing pressure from other region, the government in December 1953 appointed a States Reorganization Commission under the chairmanship of Fazal Ali. We also call this commission as Fazal Ali Commission, and it consisted of three members: Fazal Ali, K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunzru. Now this commission is really important because this commission in September 1955 submitted its report, and it was this commission finally agreed that yes, states can be divided on the basis of language, but one language, one state principle is not at all acceptable. We cannot create a state for each and every language because there are thousands of languages in our country. And after this, we also know that Fazal Ali Commission recommended that the four parts of the Constitution, Part A, B, C, and D, they should be abolished, and 29 units should be reorganized into 16 states and 3 union territories. Government accepted the report of the commission with slight modification. And what was the modification? Fazal Ali commission wanted that there should be 16 and 3 UTs. But what government did? Government created 14 states and 6 union territories on 1st of November 1956. And we also know that this happened by States Reorganization Act 1956, and for abolishing Part 7th of the Constitution, which dealt with Part A and Part B of the Constitution. 7th Constitutional Amendment Act was introduced for this. And then we have seen that what was the 15th state? 15th state was Gujarat, then 16th Nagaland, 17th Haryana, 18th Himachal Pradesh, 19th Manipur, 20th Tripura, 21 Meghalaya. Then in the same year 1972, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh were given the status of union territory. Then the 22nd state was Sikkim. We all have seen the story of Sikkim, that initially it was a protectorate state. Then by the 35th Amendment Act, it was given the status of associate state. Then by the 36th Amendment Act, we gave the status of state, abolished Article 2A, 10th schedule, and gave inserted a new article, Article 371F, which deals with a special provision for the state of Sikkim. Then 23rd state was Mizoram, 24th state was Arunachal Pradesh, and 25th state was Goa. All this happened in year 1987. Then 26th state was Chhattisgarh, carved out of the state of Madhya Pradesh, and then 27th state was Uttarakhand, carved out of the state of Uttar Pradesh, and 28th state was Jharkhand, carved out of the state of Bihar. So in the year 2000, 3 new states were created: 26, 27, 28, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. Then the 20th state was created on 2nd of June 2014. It was Telangana, when Andhra Pradesh was when Telangana region was separated from Andhra Pradesh. And then we all know that in year 2019, what happened? The Jammu Kashmir was relegated to the status of union territory. So finally, from 29, we got 28 states. Then we have seen these Goa, Daman Diu, Dadar Nagar Haveli, Pondicherry, and their respective amendment for all these. Because why amendment? Because we admitted these areas as union territories, not as a state. Had we admitted these areas as proper state, there would have been no need of amendment under the constitution. This could have been done under Article 2 of the constitution. So I think we are done for the day. We are done with this chapter, states reorganization. I hope you understood. And now tomorrow we will start with parliamentary and federal system. However, as per the sequence, I was supposed to start citizenship, but I thought that instead of citizenship, I should start parliamentary and federal system. So okay, tomorrow same timing, from 8:30 to 9:30. I think it's more than 9:30. Yes. So again, tomorrow same time, 8:30 to 9:30, we will be studying parliamentary system and federal system. Please subscribe this channel so that you can get notification. Okay. So thank you everyone.